This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now you heard Rand Paul notes. Let's get to other things. Today, one of the most amazing polls came out. I've never, in all the years I have studied politics, and that is since I was a child, when a little children. I have been following politics since I was a little children, and I have never, ever in my entire life heard of a poll result like this unless it was a fake result from there's a town in Ohio, in Cuyahoga County, where Mitt Romney, not one person in the entire county supposedly voted for Mitt Romney. And it was, but I ain't never heard of no poll with folks. You listen to this. This is from CNN, Harry Enton, reporting on this poll. Listen to this.
And this is one of those, because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
And so I guess it begs the question what's happening with inside the GOP and if there are any splits there, because with those kind of numbers, they're going to want to retain that, right? So they can retain their seats.
Yes. And what we're talking about, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment. GOP on U.S. military action in Iran. Look at this. In MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approve. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%. Very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really clear. MAGA has the floor.
MAGA has the floor, 100%.
All right. Harry Enton, thank you so much.
Well, I've never seen that. A polling come out 100%. Now, 30%, he said 30% of the Republican Party is up from 28%, self-identifies as MAGA. So that 30% of the people 100% support Donald Trump. That is astounding. Have never seen poll numbers like that before. And then he gets a 90% approval rating on Iran from even those favorable action on Iran. That is just amazing, especially when you consider how the Republican Senate and certain people there don't ever seem to want to cooperate. Caroline Leavitt was on Fox talking about the SAVE Act, Cut 2, and it's on the floor of the Senate now, and this is what she had to say.
On that note, back to Truth Social, the president said this just yesterday. He said the Save America Act is one of the most important and consequential pieces of legislation in the history of Congress and America itself. I will never, ever endorse anyone who votes against Save America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. How big of a defeat would this be for the Trump agenda if it does go down the way we expect?
Well, Bill, I do think President Trump would reject the premise of your question that this bill is doomed to fail. He's fighting every day to get the votes needed to pass this country-saving legislation, the Save America Act, which has some of the most common-sense proposals ever proposed by either party on Capitol Hill. Voter ID, who could be against it? 90% of Americans support it. No mail-in ballots, which we know create a tremendous amount of fraud in our electoral system, with common-sense exceptions, of course, for those in our military and others. No more transgender mutilation surgeries for young minor children. Again, a 90% issue supported by the American people. No men in women's sports, and proof of citizenship to vote. These are common sense proposals that the President of the United States supports because he knows the vast majority of the people in this country support. And every senator on Capitol Hill, both Republican and Democrat, frankly, would be wise to vote for this legislation because it's in the best interest of their constituents and our country to do so. We're working with the Senate on this daily, and the President is a fighter. As you know, he's not going to give up the fight on this one.